Welcome to Motivation Vault, where your spirit gets fed, your faith gets fired, and your destiny gets unlocked. Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might shake everything you've been taught about life, success, and survival. God told me to tell you this: stop looking for a job, and before you panic, before your mind starts racing with questions, I want you to pause and listen with your spirit, not just your ears. Because what God is about to reveal to you today might just set you free from years of mental, emotional, and spiritual slavery. You've been told that without a job, you're nothing. You've been taught that your value comes from a paycheck. You've been conditioned to believe that stability comes from a company and security comes from a salary. But God is saying today, I never designed you to live as a servant of men. You were never meant to spend your life chasing wages that cannot sustain the vision I placed within you. God is saying, stop depending on man. Stop begging for permission to live. Your provision, your destiny, your abundance, they come from me, not from a job. Listen to me. Every time you run after a job, you are asking a man to feed you. But when you run after God, you are opening the door to the endless provision of heaven. A job can pay your bills, but only God can fulfill your purpose. A job may give you a paycheck, but only God's calling will give you peace. That's why no matter how many jobs you've tried, how many companies you've joined, how many bosses you've pleased, deep inside you still feel empty, because you were not made for their system. You were made for God's kingdom. God says, I did not create you to live from paycheck to paycheck. I created you to live from purpose to purpose, from glory to glory. You keep wondering why every door keeps closing. You apply, you wait, you pray, you get rejected, and you think it's the devil. But God says, no, it was me. Because I love you too much to let you settle for crumbs when I have prepared a table for you in my kingdom. I close those doors because I'm trying to open your eyes. I'm trying to teach you that your source was never your job. It was always me. The world wants to enslave you with fear, fear of unemployment, fear of lack, fear of rejection. But God wants to free you with faith. Faith that says, even if man closes every door, my God will still make a way. When God is your provider, the streams never run dry, the supply never stops, the blessings never end. Man can fire you, but God cannot fire you from your calling. A company can replace you, but no one can replace you in the plan of God. You see, a job is temporary, but destiny is eternal. And too many people have sold their destiny for a wage. Too many have buried their gifts under the weight of survival. But God is waking you up. He's saying you are not meant to beg for opportunities. You are meant to create them. You are not meant to survive. You are meant to reign. Look at your life. Look at the restlessness in your heart. That voice that keeps whispering, there's more. That's not imagination, that's God calling you higher. That's God saying, stop chasing jobs and start chasing purpose. Stop running after salaries and start walking in destiny. Stop trusting the system and start trusting me. When God becomes your source, you enter a flow that no human can explain. He can bless you from unexpected places. He can send provision through people you've never met. He can turn your ideas into income, your talents into streams, your gifts into nations. Because God never created you to be an employee, He created you to be a vessel that carries His glory, His power, and His abundance. Remember, Adam and Eve didn't have jobs. They had assignments. They weren't hired. They were chosen. They didn't work for wages. They worked with purpose. That same truth applies to you. You were not born to clock in and clock out. You were born to multiply what God placed in your hands. You were born to manifest what God placed in your heart. That gift you've been ignoring, that talent you've been hiding, it's not small. It's not a hobby. It's your key. It's your weapon. It's the way God intends to provide for you. Don't bury what God gave you because you're afraid of failure. Don't say, what if it doesn't work? Because when God gives you the vision, He also gives you the provision. When He sends you, He sustains you. When He calls you, He equips you. You say, but how will I live without a job? And God replies, did I not feed my people in the wilderness? Did I not rain manna from heaven? Did I not bring water from a rock? Did I not multiply oil in the widow's jar? Did I not feed thousands with 5 loaves and 2 fish? If I could do it then, I can do it now. God is saying, stop asking how and start trusting who. Because when your eyes are on the world, you see lack. But when your eyes are on God, you see overflow. When your mind is fixed on man, you see limits. But when your mind is fixed on heaven, you see possibilities. You've spent too long begging for crumbs from man's table. God says, come to my table. You've spent too long worrying about your next paycheck. God says, rest in my provision. You've spent too long doubting your worth. God says, your value is not in what you do, it's in who you are in me. Jobs will ask you to prove yourself. God already chose you. Jobs will make you climb ladders. God already seated you in heavenly places. Jobs will replace you when they find someone better. But in God's kingdom, you are irreplaceable. This is why your spirit feels caged in jobs, because your spirit was made to soar. Every time you try to fit into a system that limits you, you feel suffocated, because your calling is too big for the box. God is saying, I didn't design you to fit in, I designed you to stand out. Listen, a job takes from you, but a calling releases from you. A job drains you, but a calling fills you. A job pays you temporarily, but a calling rewards you eternally. When you walk in purpose, blessings chase you. When you obey God, opportunities find you. When you align with your destiny, miracles follow you. The enemy knows this. That's why he keeps you scared. Scared of failure, scared of lack, scared of stepping out. Because he knows the moment you trust God more than a paycheck, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop chasing jobs and start walking in faith, you become dangerous to his kingdom. Every great man and woman in the Bible had to step away from the comfort of man's system. Abraham left his land. Moses left Pharaoh's house. David left the sheepfold. Peter left the nets. They all walked into the unknown. And God met them there. And God is saying to you, will you trust me like they did? Will you dare to step into the unknown? Will you believe that I am enough? This is not a call to laziness. It's a call to purpose. It's not a call to idleness. It's a call to obedience. God isn't saying don't work. He's saying don't work for survival, work for destiny. Don't labor for wages, labor for purpose. Because when your work flows from purpose, heaven funds it. You've been living to survive. But God wants you to live to shine. You've been living to pay bills. God wants you to live to make impact. You've been living to get by. God wants you to live to glorify Him. So today, choose to break free. Choose to trust God's economy, not man's. Choose to believe that if He called you, He will provide for you. Stop asking, who will hire me? And start declaring, God has already appointed me. Stop saying, what if they reject me? And start saying, if man rejects me, it means God has something better. You are not created for jobs. You are created for greatness. You are not created to chase money. You are created to carry glory. You are not created to fit in. You are created to transform. So rise up, child of God. Shake off the fear. Tear off the limits. Walk into your purpose. Step into your calling. Trust your Creator. Because when you stop depending on man and start depending on God, that's when the miracles begin. And when the world sees you thriving without the system they worship, they will know it wasn't luck, it wasn't coincidence, it was God. Audience catching closing sentences. So from this moment forward, declare it with faith. I will not chase jobs, I will chase purpose. I will not depend on men, I will depend on God. Because the same God who created the universe, who fed His people in the desert, who opened the Red Sea, that same God is your provider today. Say it until it sinks deep into your spirit. I will not look for a job, I will look for God. And when you do, heaven will back you. Doors will open, rivers will flow, and your life will become the living proof that God never fails those who trust Him.